here is another recollection video, and we made many trips to a place. In fact, I'll have probably more than one recollection video about a place called Gaston's Resort, and it's just a really wonderful place to go visit with a family or a father-son or a church retreat. It's just a good place to go. Really first class. Not the cheapest place to go, but first class all the way. And a wonderful restaurant overlooking the White River, and really neat cabins with bring you firewood every day to stoke your fireplace, and wonderful fishing. In fact, I understand the world record brown trout has now been caught out of those waters. And one time, when of our many trips there, Sam was probably 4 or 5 years old, and we're going on a guided float trip up the White River. We had a guide, and they'd fix us a shore lunch, and about noon, you go up the river a decent way, and then you float your way back. And about noon, you pull over, and the guide would make a nice fire and break out. The restaurant would have fixed us, like croissant sandwiches and chips and fruit and drinks and so forth. Really a nice deal. Well, on the one particular morning, it was just, pardon me, bitterly cold, fiercely cold, and I wrapped that little boy, like I said, Sam was 4 or 5 maybe, and I wrapped him up in every warm piece of clothing I had, trying to keep him warm. And you're in these real long kind of aluminum john boats with one fisherman at the front, one in the middle, and the guide at the back. And they're unusually long and a little bit narrower than your average john boat, with a small little gasoline engine to get you up the river. And then, like I said, you float your way back. So we're tooling up the river, and Sam is at the very front, and he was the best fisherman, because even as a little boy, he would not fidget. He would sit still. He would not talk. And we're going along there, and the guide, we'd probably been going 20 minutes, and all you could barely see was just a tiny little bit of Sam's head, because we had him wrapped up, bundled up in coats and blankets, and the guide was sitting behind me, and Sam was at the front of the boat, and the guide said, Mr. Eaton, I believe that little boy has gone to sleep. And we heard Sam go, I'm awake, and all I could see was the back of Sam. He's got his back to me, and I said, well, what are you doing? And Sam goes, I'm thinking. And I said, well, what do you, we're going up this river, and it's tree-lined canopy all the way, just beautiful Ozark Mountain river, and the trees lap over each other from side to side. And I said, well, what are you doing? And he said, I'm thinking. And I said, well, what are you thinking about? And in Sam's very serious, typical demeanor, he said, I'm thinking about how come squirrels have more hair on their tails than on their head. And it just was the cutest. I mean, it was just hilarious. And I just said, well, when you get that all figured out, you tell me. And he goes, okay, Daddy. And he never said. We went on up the river another probably 30 minutes to our destination, and shut off the engine and floated our way back, catching our limit of trout, and having just a really fun trip. And by the way, we continued to fish there for several years, and one of our last trips there will be another recollection video, and I'll tease you with it by saying that a man came up over the railroad trestle and yelled down at us and said, y'all have a new baby waiting for you in Dallas. And by the way, how does that work? But I'll make that a separate recollection video and tell you later.